Life doesn't come with a handbook, and no one should have to face it alone. That's where Courageous Minds Counseling steps in. Based in the Des Moines Metro, this group practice provides culturally responsive, trauma-informed therapy for children, adolescents, adults, couples, and families. Their team of highly trained and compassionate therapists understands that every person's journey is unique, whether through eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing therapy, play therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, mindfulness, or traditional talk therapy. They design treatment plans that meet clients where they are and guide them through where they want to be. From overcoming trauma and anxiety to navigating relationships, transitions, or self-discovery, Courageous Minds Counseling creates a safe space to heal, grow, and thrive. Because healing isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, and everyone deserves a chance to be heard, supported, and empowered. Call 515-601-2890 or visit courageousmindscounseling.com to schedule your appointment today. When courageous minds speak, oh, the possibilities. Hello, and welcome back to the Black Girl Iowa podcast, where we uplift and celebrate stories of Black men and women making a difference across the state of Iowa. I'm your host, Emili, and today I am thrilled to welcome Nekia Whitfield, CEO and lead designer of NikStar Designs, a proud Chicago native and graduate of Bolingbrook High School, class of 2008. Nekia went on to earn her degree from Iowa State University in 2012. She is also a graduate of the prestigious Goldman Sachs 1 Million Black Women in Business program, a reflection of her leadership and vision in the fashion industry. Through her company, NikStar Designs, formerly known as NikStar Boutique, Nekia specializes in creating custom, handmade formal wear, including prom gowns, bridal wear, maternity dresses, and alterations. She is especially known for her annual prom dress giveaway, a program that uplifts and empowers young women by giving them confidence as they step into one of life's milestone events. At the heart of her work is a mission to foster confidence in women through clothing that celebrates individuality and self-expression. Guided by her slogan, "Rock It with Confidence," her designs invoke beauty, boldness, edginess, and fun. Although she is a Chicago girl at heart, Nekia has made Iowa home, appreciating the many activities and interesting people she has encountered here. So, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends, I'd like to welcome Nekia Whitfield of NikStar Designs to the show. Nekia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm going to have a good time. It's going to be fun.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I'm always very transparent with my audience. You guys, this interview is a year in the making. It is a year in the making. We have had reschedules, we've had life happen, but I think it's one of those things where when God says it's the right time, he says it's the right time, our schedules aligned and we went for it. And I made sure there was nothing was going to stop me from having this conversation today. So I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm happy you are here too. So I always want to jump in first and just really talk about what brings people to Iowa. So you went to Iowa State University. So do you want to talk a little bit about your upbringing in Chicago and what made Iowa not only stick out to come here for college, but to stay after you graduated?
Yes. So my family pretty much thought I was crazy for leaving Chicago to come to Iowa to study fashion because it sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I had ensured them that I did my research, and it turns out that a lot of the teachers during that time, when I was searching for fashion programs, trying to see which one was the best, and that wasn't too far from home, I kept circling back to Iowa State and their professors there. As everyone knows who has traveled somewhere through ISU or any of their research. They are a very heavy research based school. So I was pretty much excited to learn directly from the people who were actually creating those research programs that had to do with fashion and things like that, which is crazy
Mhm.
because they were professors at Iowa State. That was pretty much the main reason of why I came, was to learn directly from the source. And then I ended up meeting my husband, who is from Iowa, and we ended up starting a family here. So that kind of is you know,
Mhm.
the short version of how I got here.
Yeah. And that's kind of the typical story, for a lot of black people. I mean, even my dad. My dad is from New York. He came out here in the 70s. He been here ever since. He met my mother, had me and my sister, and he will be 70 at the end of September. Oh, he
It's
is in
something
here for
so
the long
captivating.
haul. Yes, yes, absolutely.
You know what's captivating?
Once you start setting them roots, they get deeper and deeper. But I wanted
They
to
do.
definitely talk about your path in fashion, and I feel like you're right. It does kind of sound backwards, right? Like you're from Chicago, you're from this epicenter of culture, and it's like, hey, I'm actually gonna go study fashion in Iowa. That does sound a little backwards, like when you say it out loud, but when you look at the credentials of Iowa State, like it makes sense. But I feel like Chicago, like New York, like Atlanta, like LA, it has a very specific style to it. Just the way people walk, the way people talk, and even in their clothing and how they dress. So, did that Chicago style kind of spark your passion in fashion design and clothing? Can you kind of talk a little bit about where your inspiration originally came from?
Yeah. Anyone that has been to Chicago, it's such an inspiring city, from the people, from the food, from the activities, the community, like literally everything that I was raised on built into why I love fashion. So people really inspire me themselves, and then just kind of building the outer appearance of who the person they are on the inside. A lot of that I owe to my Chicago background for sure. Even when I came to Iowa State, bringing in that Chicago style was very loud and bold
Yeah.
compared to
Yep.
some of my classmates work. So I did get a lot of pushback from that, but I just kind of pushed through that moment of adversity while I was at Iowa State. I was one of the only, Black people in a lot of my classes. So one of the things is I kind of removed all of the inspiration and distraction of where I was from and really wanted to focus on what the industry was like. And so that is what I really gained from Iowa State, and kind of intertwining myself within that too.
Yeah, and when you say understanding the industry, and I think, I worked at Iowa State for 3 years, and I worked in recruitment, and the College of Design is very unique because I think, and also just even with fashion merchandising and being in the College of Human Sciences, it's so interesting because I feel like on one end, you're learning the business aspect. You're learning, about how these materials are outsourced and where things are coming from and all these other things. Then on another side, you're learning kind of like technique and the different ways to make and put together the clothing. And then on another side, you're learning about design and how to put things together and kind of make them work. What were some things about the industry specifically that surprised you that you're currently using with NikStar Designs? And I definitely want to get into your business, but kind of what were some of those things that were those aha moments that you learned that kind of made you into the designer you are today?
I think the biggest thing is that the fashion industry as a whole excludes a lot of people, a lot of different body shapes. It was really my main focus. Being Black, I have a lot of country family members, like they're, very shapely, they're very,
Hmm.
thick. And I didn't see, once I got kind of more information about what the industry was, I didn't see myself, I didn't see my family members, I didn't see people that looked like me or even people who didn't look like me be represented. So even, and this might be going a little super deep, but even when it comes to making patterns to fit certain sizes, it's a huge thing of how standard measurements go off of European sizing. So it's not even inclusive to how a woman is shaped who may be a little bit more shapely versus someone who isn't. So it was a lot of things that I was learning that the industry was not even catching up to.
Yeah, and you really speak to the non-inclusivity of clothing, you know? I really feel like, especially as Black women, I mean, you look at my closet right now, there are hundreds of brands. And okay, that's an exaggeration. There are a lot of brands that are represented because things fit me differently. I have
Yes,
white friends that are like, I get all of my jeans at Old Navy. I get all of my tops at Lane Bryant or something like that. It's just like I get in where I fit in because nothing is
exactly.
going to fit me the same. And I honestly think like the one store that has consistently been able to fit me well is Torrid, but that is only
Mm,
because I'm kind of like medium on the top and I'm big on the bottom. So,
yeah.
like that is what works for me. So, when you were having those ideas to launch your brand, to launch NikStar Designs, how influential was sizing the body for you? And how does that currently lead into your brand slogan of Rocket with Confidence?
Well, in the beginning, my brain has been through 7 transitions between from when I started in college versus me becoming a mom
Mhm.
and how it is now. So my body has been changing. So there's been a lot of transparency that I have had to come to realize within my business. When I first started, I actually started wholesale. So
Mm.
I was buying ready-made items and then reselling them.
Mhm.
I hated it. It felt so icky.
Mm.
A lot of times people are like, "Oh, I really need this," and maybe like an extra large or a text. It was hard for me to even find certain things that didn't look ugly, that
Mhm.
had nice material that fit right. And so then it took me a while, but I dropped that side and I was like, let me just focus on just custom so I can meet women where they're at.
Mhm.
And that is really what kind of brought about the rocket with confidence because at the end of the day, you can wear a trash bag or you can wear, $1,000 dress, but if you don't have confidence, then,
Mhm.
it's like a waste almost.
Right.
So that was kind of where that came from.
And you mentioned what I think is really important, that from you starting your business in college to now, your own body has changed. So you've had to kind of do your own mindset changes and changing your process and how you think about clothes. You know, sometimes I don't know if many of my listeners probably go through this, they probably have, but when you look at that picture of yourself when you were 18 versus when you look at that picture, like for me, I'm 39 and it's like, ooh, man, what I
Yeah,
could do if I could just get them 75 pounds off and have that body again with what I know now,
I
unstoppable.
know.
Unstoppable. How does that kind of play into you developing an idea for a client? So, walk us kind of through that process because, you're doing not only custom formal wear, so that could be for that girl that's going to prom or, going to a formal, but I really love that you're doing maternity wear as well. So, walk us through kind of like what that process looks like for you, taking that idea, in making sure that it's not just a custom made, it's truly custom, it truly fits the body and in every aspect where it should.
Yeah. So, like I said, starting out, I was in college. I had a job at Victoria's Secret, and one of the things that I had answered during the interview was like, "Why Victoria's Secret?" And truly, it was because I wanted to learn more about the foundation. I
Mhm.
wanted to learn how foundational pieces like bras, underwear, corsets, like things like that fit the body at the most first layer. And then on top of it, is where I kinda take over. So, it was really just kinda educating myself in real world circumstances and then developing that within my line. So I do use corsets, I do use kind of some techniques as far as how to cut the fabric and how to pin it to your body. So a lot of that comes from just the client as an individual and what their end result is wanting. So really that starts with a consultation. So at the most basic level, what are we trying to achieve? A dress? Okay, is there an occasion? Is there an event? Because usually, if you're coming to get something custom to invest in that piece, you're trying to create a moment.
Mm.
Invite me in that moment with you. It's really intimate,
Mhm.
and I have to be confident in what I can do as well as instill that confidence in you to share that with me so we can come out with something at the end that's, you're going to be happy with and it's going to last for a long time.
What have been some of kind of like your favorite moments working with your clients? Or have you had a moment where you've just kind of had to sit back and be like, I'm doing what I'm passionate about, and like this is why. Do you want to talk maybe about a few of those moments?
Yeah, I had one of my favorite moments that I always talk about. I had a client that was going to host an event. So she was going to be seen in front of, a lot of people. And so she really stressed to be comfortable and something that she could kind of get in and out for having to go to the bathroom or what have you. And so she landed on a jumpsuit, but I was like, the way that I would make this jumpsuit, it will be hard because the zipper will be in the back. And so it was long sleeve. So she's just like, yeah, I don't know. So I ended up creating it into three pieces. So it was a bodysuit and pants. And then we did a belt that went on it. So when she had all of the three pieces together, it looked like a bodysuit,
Mhm.
but it functioned like a two piece.
Right. Right.
So that's like a prime example of really creating something that's like fully custom. And this was a client that also had a very I would say underrepresented shape. She was very tall and slim, but she was very curvy.
Mhm.
So she never really experienced what it was like to have a good fitting bodysuit and then she also was like, "Kind of sweat sometimes, so can we layer this?" So I was like, "Yeah, no problem."
Mhm.
We did the sleeves in a way that she can feel cool, and then we double lined everything else.
Mhm.
Another thing was pockets. Women, we love pockets, you know?
Man, because listen, if it don't got pockets, it's not at this point, if it doesn't have pockets, it's not getting purchased. Like, that's the
Exactly.
first thing I go to is pockets.
Yes. And let's talk about how unfunctional the women's pockets are. They're usually like this big. And so I traced her hand and I
Mm,
created a pocket that was big enough for her hand. And I was like, well, what else are you going to fit in there? So, like, she truly got a custom piece. We literally went down detail by detail by detail. And it's something that we also talked about mixing it into her wardrobe. So,
mm,
that was also she had 3 separate pieces. She
mhm,
can wear, button down with the pants, or she can wear the top with some jeans.
mhm,
So it was just functionality all around.
mhm. Yeah, and I think, when you mention the pockets or the fact that you now have 3 pieces that can be worn individually or, worn with the outfit, I really think that that really speaks to just women really wanting clothes that are versatile anymore.
Yeah,
And I think, as being a millennial, that's why I loved being able to go clubbing in the 2000s and the
yeah,
2000s because yes, I would have my LBD on with a blazer and
yeah,
my heels during the day, but if it was 2 for Tuesdays, I could take that blazer off
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm ready for the bar,
You ready for the night
Yes, you ready for the night, no problem, and then you get home at 2 AM, you sleep for a little bit, rally, go to work the next
and go
day.
back.
This generation just don't know. They don't know
It was a
what that was
staple.
like.
It was
It it, uh, it It most definitely was. And, I think that the other thing is that, and this probably leads into your annual prom dress giveaway of having kind of those intimate moments to have something truly created. If you guys have not gone onto Nikia's website to see some of these prom looks, like I said, if I was 75 pounds lighter, and I had somebody's dance to go to, whole back would be out, just the bodice with the like all of it, just all of it, right? But your prom dress giveaway, you've been doing it for a few years now, and I believe it is that you're giving away kind of one essentially ultimate prom experience. Do you want to talk a little bit about where that idea came about and what those experiences for those young ladies have been like?
Yeah, I actually used to work for a nonprofit for high school girls, and so when I was talking with them, they always expressed like how important prom was. Now, I knew prom was really big back at home in Chicago, but I was shocked that it wasn't a lot of people that were really excited about prom here. And so some of the things that I would hear is just them finding the dress
Mhm.
and something that somebody else didn't have. And it could be whether it was a financial barrier or just a resource barrier. They didn't know where to go and get those things. I ended up getting linked up with a nonprofit and we did a prom dress giveaway. So that's kind of where it started. So each year I choose a high school girl to kind of gift the prom experience to. They don't pay for anything. And that is just from either donations from other people. I do have a donation slot set up on my link tree
Mhm.
that people can donate for to give a prom dress away. And it's really nice. I've done 3 dresses at this point and so it's been really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, being from Iowa, being here in Des Moines, I can absolutely speak to that. Now, I mean, your girl went to prom twice, no big deal, just saying. But, um,
That's big.
I mean, I went as a freshman with a friend and then I went as a senior, but that was like a big thing. I mean, I remember girls going to Chicago, Minneapolis, Kansas City to find prom dresses, St. Louis to find prom dresses. My mom is just we had Yonkers back then. And so she would scour Yonkers and bring me home dresses from the season prior. So that's how I was able to get all my prom and homecoming dresses and things like that. But, it's really hard knowing that this isn't like the mecca of fashion. And back then I don't know of anyone that was making custom dresses, let alone making custom dresses for Black girls that were affordable. So I think that what you are doing in that sense and creating that experience, creating worth, for those girls to, I am worthy of this one of a kind thing, that one of a kind dress that I know no one else is going to have. And the other thing that I want to talk to you about is uh, you've had quite a few fashion shows. And your
Yeah.
studio, you're over at Mainframe, and I mean, you guys, when you guys watch the video of this, you'll see her studio in the background. But what I really really love and appreciate is every time I see your fashion shows, or I've gone to a couple of events and I'm like, oh my God, I love this piece. And they're just like, this is an IKEA piece. And I'm like, I want one. I'm gonna have to get my coins together. But you are very much involved in the community. And I want to ask, what is it about the Des Moines community that you feel has really given you kind of that? What's the word I'm looking for? This is going to be the beauty of editing when I get this point out. What is it about being here and being a designer in Des Moines that is unique to you and your business, or maybe something that you weren't expecting about having your business right here in Iowa?
I have been in Iowa for a very long time. I've been in Des Moines for even less than that. I've only been living in Des Moines for maybe 5, nope, not 5, maybe 7 years now. And when it started, I felt like I was one of very few. And I think just by, and I'm by no means like I mean this in the humblest way, but I think just by me being here, it also gives other people permission to
Mm,
also want to be here and do it here. I
Mhm.
don't have plans on leaving, so
Mhm.
it is nice that I could help whoever is here if they do plan to leave. If they plan to stay, great. We have an even bigger community. There are so many fashion designers in Des Moines now, and it wasn't like that like 10 years
Mhm.
ago.
Mhm.
And I can only really attest that to people actually kind of staying around or at least coming back.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, seeing you and us, I think also just being inspired by you and that you've been doing this for a long time. And then I think the other thing too, and you mentioned this, and I'm gonna I want to get your opinion. Not being afraid to rebrand. I feel like sometimes we get stuck in this hole that, well, this is how I started out and I can't change it. You had mentioned that you went through
Mhm.
7 rebrands. So there's been 7 times where your brand, your business has evolved. Um, how have you kind of overcome that fear that if I reband, people aren't gonna know me, or kind of what was the driving force for you to rebrand and still believe in your business and believe in the support?
Think because I got to a point like mental health is so important to me.
Mm,
And when you get so far into feeling like you're now performing for how people think that you should be,
mm,
you kind of have an aha moment.
mhm,
And you're like, hey, I don't have to stay stuck right here. I give myself permission to learn and to look back and then to grow.
mhm,
And I think it's just I don't want to ever be comfortable or
mhm,
stagnant in what I'm doing. I always want to learn and grow and kind of get to that next goal or
mhm,
step.
mhm.
So I think just kind of giving myself grace with like, hey, it's okay if something isn't working out, just go ahead and pivot.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's the key word is pivot. You know, because listen,
Yeah.
I feel like, when you don't do that, when you don't pivot, when you don't try new things or, rethink things, then doing what you love is now a job. It's now no different than if you
Yeah.
go out and you work for someone else, and by knowing now that you've rebranded 7 times, that even makes me feel good because my podcast is very, very young. I'm in season 2 right now. And so there have
Yeah.
already been some things where I'm like, "I think I wanna do this differently, but no, I probably shouldn't. I should probably stay in my lane." And it's just like, "No, no, no, Emily, you can go on and do something else." But I think also the other thing I'd like you to touch on real quick before we get to the lightning
Mhm.
round is not asking permission to do something and just doing it. Um, for your business, for NikStar Designs, if you look back and you think about your journey, because you launched your business while you were in college. What is something that you wish someone would have told you along the way that you know now that could potentially help another designer looking to maybe get that start?
I think 2 things. One is make mistakes faster.
Mm,
And I think sometimes and I'm new to entrepreneurship. This
mhm,
wasn't something that, was taught to me. I kind of just had to learn and kind of find my way through it. But I think we don't give ourselves permission to fail. And we think that failure is something that is bad. But you learn so much when you fail.
mhm,
And I think I was so scared to take the first step sometimes that I would then see everybody else kind of flying past me. And I'm like,
mhm,
dang, had I just took the step and then just
yeah,
kind of found my footing as I went, then I wouldn't have spent so long. So that would be
mhm.
my first thing. And then I think that's probably a good property. I think we'll just keep it there.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because I think too, with us being in this world now where influence kind of guides everything, and we see people going viral on social media
Yeah.
and it's like fast, right? We think that we have to go 0 to 60, right? So it's like, I'm gonna launch my business with this product. I'm gonna get 3,000 orders and I'm gonna be set for life. And that is such an unrealistic idea to have. And it's
Yeah.
like that can be the goal, but just know like you're gonna trip up along the way, I think is
Yeah.
something perfect to really understand and that, that those mistakes are okay to make. Just because you make a mistake in your business does not mean you are a failure. It just means that a mistake was
Exactly.
made, a lesson was learned, and you can move on from it for sure. I love that. So I have one more question, but I want to do the lightning round because this question that I have been looking at has been staring at me this entire time, and I really, really want to ask it. I feel like I know the answer, but then again, I probably don't. So, first question in the lightning round that I have, with you
Okay.
being a true Chicago girly, are we rocking heels or sneakers?
Have to say heels.
Really?
I would have to say heels.
Okay. Okay.
Love a good heel. Now, a good heel doesn't love me, but I will put it on even if it's for a quick second.
Yeah. You know what? I was really thinking you were gonna say sneakers because for every Chicagonian I have met, they are all sneakerheads. Every last one of them. And every time I see them, shoes are just on point. I love this. She said, "Give me the Louboutins in a
Give me
minute."
the heels. I am not a sneakerhead. My brother is, my
Mhm.
father is.
Mhm.
So I have a respect for, the J's and the Air Forces, but that's really it. Give me a nice cheap gym shoe. I am fine. But give me like a good
A good heel, and she's on one. You and my
good
mother
heel.
are going to be best friends because Doretha is in her 60s and she still will walk up in church with 6-inch heels on and looking cute.
Yes,
And I'm here for it.
yes.
My ankles won't allow it, but I love that for everyone that can do it.
Love a good heel. And don't let it be a color. Like,
I
yes,
love it. I love it. Okay. Next question. If you could design any celebrity, who would it be?
Beyonce.
Okay. Okay. I'm ready.
Did I
I'm
answer
ready.
fast enough? Okay.
Something told me because I did see that you have been to many of Queen Mother's concerts. So something told me that was going to be the answer, but I wanted you to get it out. Very good. Okay. Your favorite fabric to design with?
It is called crepe. That is the fabrication. It's kind of stretchy. It has a good weight to it.
Mhm.
It comes in so many colors. It is
Mm.
a very versatile fabric, and it
Okay.
is, like, currently my favorite.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'm gonna because you guys, I've like I want to go to her studio and check it out. So I have no idea what she's talking about. But by the time this airs,
I will
I'll
show you.
know. Yes, I can't wait. One word to describe your personal style.
Eclectic.
Okay. A lot of different things going on, but it all works, right?
Yes. I
Okay.
love a good, like, sporty lounge thing, but then I also like to, be a little crazy.
Okay.
Depends on
Very
my
good.
mood.
I love it. What is your go-to song when you're in your studio and in your zone?
"In That Mode" by Glorilla.
TGIF
That
was my banger last summer. You couldn't tell me nothing. So yes, yes, that is a good one by Glow for sure.
that is that one or "Moment for Life" by Nicki Minaj, I would say.
Mm,
Those are the
so there too. I like that. Dream vacation spot.
I really wanna go to Japan. I want to go to Japan. I don't know what's there, but I feel a pull to Japan.
Yep. Well, and I feel like too, there's so many aspects I think to Japan because my dream place. Okay, I usually don't do this, but I love this. I've always wanted to go to South Korea, like go to Seoul.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know what I mean? And, like, my whole thing to go to Seoul because I like to watch Korean street food videos, is really just to try all the street food that I find, but also get some of these, like, different, like, hotel and, like, spa experiences. But for you, all of that plus fashion,
Yeah.
that
Seoul
would
is a good fashion
mhm.
city, though.
Really? See, I just look at the food. That's because just my back
No,
is
they're
forever
really good
big and
fashion.
activated. Okay. It's just always thinking about something to eat. So, okay, if I ever get there, I'm gonna make sure that I also take a look at fashion as I'm
Yes.
eating all of this street food. Okay. Let's see. Fashion icon. Who's your fashion icon and why?
Tracy Ellis Ross. I think she can do no wrong. She has a very, like, quirky style,
Mhm.
and she also dresses herself.
Mhm.
which I'm
Yeah.
just so impressed by
Mhm.
because the way she puts outfits together is just beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. And she's so
Okay.
such an individual.
Yes, absolutely. What is one fashion rule you would love to break?
I don't follow fashion rules.
They're
I don't
outdated.
know.
To me, they're outdated. I don't know. That's just me.
Cause the one I would say, like, I don't wanna break it.
Okay, well, but which one is it?
Like, when people wear bonnets outside, I mean, like, I don't judge anybody, but I'm just like, I can't. I'd be hot in my bonnet, so that's really why I wouldn't wear it.
Mhm. I feel that.
But yeah, that's one I can't. Anything else, I really don't care.
Okay, got you. Let's do okay, last one, and then I have one last question. What is the best piece of advice you have received?
Know your numbers.
You wanna expand on that a little bit?
Yes. So in business, so I can be creative, right? Like it's fun to be creative and that's cool. But what I had to really learn was the business side,
Mm,
and that's never the fun side. And when I realized that knowing what my business is doing was also helping me feed into my creativity, it got a little bit easier.
mhm,
Knowing what was selling more or what people were asking for more, knowing how much it actually cost me to make certain dresses. Knowing those things allowed me to kind of change pricing. It allowed me to just put myself in a growth state of mind for my business.
mhm.
So, just kind of really knowing what my business was doing in the operating sector, that was probably the best advice that I got.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, I think a lot of the times with entrepreneurs, and I even started to do this a little bit when I started working on advertising for the podcast, is I undersold myself. And I
Yeah.
had one of my mentors, Corey Dion Lewis, was like, no, if that's the price, that's the price. And people will pay for it. But you cannot
They
undervalue
will.
yourself just for what? For you know what I mean? So it's just like, no, like what you are
Yes.
doing, this is your brand, this is your baby, for you, this is your style, this is your time, your energy, your blood, sweat, and your tears. People need to pay
Yeah.
you for that. And that was a huge lesson for me to add on to the numbers game, because there is nothing like
Yeah.
wanting to do something and not being able to afford it because you didn't charge what you needed to charge for something.
Yep.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
It is because 'cause you're like, "Dang, I left money on the table that I didn't know was there." And
Yes.
that all just is because you didn't know where your business was and, like,
Mhm.
the potential.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Nikia, looking ahead, looking at I know, you've had a lot of reflection on the past and what has been, but now looking at where NikStar Designs is currently, what's next? What are some things that you're dreaming of? What are some goals that you have? And what are you working towards when it comes to your business?
Yeah, well, right now, I'm in a really interesting, like, growth era
Mhm.
that I started doing alterations. So, I was just kind of looking at what I was being asked for, like, when we were talking about just kind of looking in your business, seeing what's working, what isn't working. Adding alterations was something that people were really asking for, but not for formal wear, for like everyday wear. That has been really interesting. I've been enjoying it. It's been a break from having to create things from scratch.
Mhm.
So, looking into alterations a little bit more for basic things. And then I am creating a collection. I have a 4-phase rollout,
Mm.
and I'm working in the first phase of it. And I am actually having my first solo fashion show coming up.
Nice. That is so okay, well, no, I'm gonna ask. So are you gonna be doing is it gonna be like formal? Like is it gonna be like in the tiers that you've already said? Or are you gonna be branching out to different genres of clothing?
So it's gonna be bridal. The theme is pretty much like the non-traditional bride
Mhm.
and then kind of following her throughout her process. So
Mm.
what does she look like when she's on her engagement? What does she look like when she is at the rehearsal dinner? What
Mm-hmm.
is the actual wedding dress? So it's just breaking down like the phases of fashion throughout wedding planning. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how the show is gonna roll out.
Well, that sounds so exciting. I'm gonna be there front row because I I while I don't foresee myself getting married again, I love flipping through a good bridal magazine. So let's go. I'm very excited for that. You'll have to let us know when it happens, so then we can definitely share that info for you. So Nikia, thank you so much for being here. Before we wrap up I want to make sure that people know where to find you. So I want to roll out the red carpet, tell people where they can find you on social media, your website, all of those great things.
Yeah, so you can follow me on all the social media platforms at NikStar Designs. That is the same on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then my website is www.nikstardesigns.com.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, again, Nikia, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your story from growing up in Chicago to creating NikStar Designs here in Iowa, your mission to empower women through fashion, and your annual prom dress giveaway and your motto of Rocket with Confidence are a true inspiration. To everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode of Black Girl Iowa. This and all previous episodes of the podcast can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Be sure to follow along on Instagram and TikTok at Black Girl Iowa for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. And don't forget, you guys, I do have a website and I have a blog. The blog does go into some more deeper stories, reflections, and also community features. And if you want to rep my brand and support the mission and look good doing it, head over to my Etsy shop, Black Girl Iowa shop, for merch, including sweatshirts, t-shirts, canvas bags, and journaling kits. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review wherever you get your podcast. And as always, keep showing up, keep telling your story, and keep being unapologetically you. We will catch you on the next episode. Bye. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you took a moment just for yourself? Not for work, not for school, not for family, but for you. That's where journaling comes in, and that's exactly why I created my journaling kits. Each kit is designed to make it super easy and honestly really fun to start your journaling journey. You'll get a decorated journal with over 100 prompts to spark your creativity, plus washi tape, stickers, cards, and even a sweet treat to keep you inspired. Journaling is more than just writing. It's self-care, it's reflection, it's dreaming bigger. And with these kits, you don't have to stare at a blank page wondering where to start. I've got you covered with prompts that will help you reflect, plan, and grow. They're just $18, and you can grab yours today on Etsy in the Black Girl Iowa shop. Don't wait to start your journaling journey. Your thoughts, your dreams, your story, they deserve a page.